the meat slicer. It slices through every type of cooked meat and cheese, one wafer-thin layer after another. How does it cut through the toughest produce to create the perfect slice? Beneath the solid guard sits a razor-sharp blade, thin enough to slice lengthways down a human hair. Driving the machine is a 370-watt motor. A spiked plate grips the meat for ultimate slicing precision. At the top, a boron nitride grinding stone, as hard as diamond, sharpens the blade in just 5 seconds. It keeps this heavyweight machine a cut above the rest. The biggest challenge in the deli is prosciutto. The slicer needs a blade that is razor sharp and will not go blunt to cut super thin slices of the toughest meats. Workers in this Ohio factory use a special technique to form the blade from a blunt piece of metal.
When the blade starts out, this is what we get into machine. This is our starting point.
Machinist Les is at the sharp end of blade manufacturing. He cuts out specially shaped slots that allow the blade to be mounted on the slicer. The slots must be centered perfectly, or the blade will be useless. The deli meat slicer needs a razor-sharp blade to cut through the toughest cured meat. The blade's central hole must be perfectly located.
If you don't get this center hole in the center, then it could wear out a motor, it could wear out a shaft. This one looks good.
Les grinds down the blade to a fine point.
We have to wear special cut-proof gloves because the knife comes off this machine so sharp.
A blade this sharp is essential to carve through tough cured meat. Delicacies like prosciutto need to be cut into layers as thin as paper. How does this machine control the thickness to make slices so thin you can see right through them? A click of the dial turns a hidden cam gear, spiraling like a snail's shell. Its rotation slides a control arm. This shifts the plate that holds the meat closer to the blade, so you can cut 1-inch slabs or wafer-thin slices with just the flick of a finger. This precision control and a razor-sharp blade are crucial for cutting the thinnest layers of the toughest meats. But a blade this sharp could be dangerous if left exposed. It is vital that no one accidentally touches it.
If you were to just skim your finger across the blade, it would more than likely leave a pretty deep gash on your finger.
Christian has the job of keeping the slicer safe. He fits a guard around the blade.
The ring guard, it's basically just to protect the operator. It's one of the main key safety features.
He checks the fit using a dummy blade to ensure there is good clearance. With the guard installed, the machine can slice through meat, but is safe for everyone else. To achieve a champion cut, the meat must be moved backwards and forwards over the blade in one smooth motion. If it jams halfway, the slice is cut short and is no good. How does the slicer keep the meat moving smoothly? The clamp that holds the meat is bolted to a gliding carriage. This slides along a nickel-plated track. The rail is self-lubricating. Underneath, a sponge pad soaked in oil constantly coats the metal so the carriage can glide fast. At the end of the rail, bumpers absorb the impact so the operator can smoothly slide the meat back and forth. The blade must be razor sharp, or this rapid slicing action will cause the meat to jam. Workers test every blade before the slicer can leave the factory.
My next job is going to be to make sure that this knife here is very sharp.
Kyle is the man to make sure the blade is up to the task. To test the sharpness, he attaches a plastic flag to the sliding meat tray. The blade must be as sharp as a scalpel, or it will simply bend the soft plastic tabs out of the way. Test complete. The blade slices the tabs without bending them at all.
And all 3 tabs are gone, so that's what you want every time before we ship it out.
Finally, the slicer is ready to be shipped, one of hundreds of machines made by this production line each year. With a blade that's never dull and a cutting motion smoother than silk, the meat slicer is the ultimate mechanical butcher.